Hello and welcome from SAF headquarters here in Denver, Colorado. My name is Eddie Prue, and today we want to talk about protecting your workstations and endpoints while working from home. I'd like to go over what proper endpoint security is and how oftentimes we may think we're protected, but just may not be. We think that this because whatever antivirus we are running might be up to date and seemingly working okay. And today's information will be particularly important if you have a free version that you may have found somewhere else out on the web. These are common mistakes, and so we wanted to clarify what sort of protection you should be running at home. The goal today is to give a non-technical overview of what excellent endpoint protection should look like. A little about us. SYNEC, FIN, or SAF for short. We are a managed service provider here in Denver that supports IT for everything from small businesses to large enterprise level companies. Basically, if you have a need for a team of experts, we can co-manage with your existing team, or in many cases, take on the full duties of IT support and technology for your company. In today's world, finding qualified IT employees can be a bit tough. Most times companies find that we can help manage their technology at a far less cost as compared to doing it themselves with better results. We're available 24 hours, 7 days a week. We're always going to be there for you, no matter what. Whether or not your employees are there or not, we're going to be there. We take a proactive approach, and so there's less downtime and fewer sleepless nights as you know that your information is being protected the way that it should. Our mantra embodies these principles, and nothing gives us more satisfaction than to see our customers succeed. We truly believe in our clients. We believe in their ability to create a successful business. We are their IT partner. We want to work really closely with them. We are here to support and to help grow a business with technology. We consider ourselves a part of your team. We want your network to be available 99.9% of the time. And at the end of the day, we are there for you no matter what technology needs you may have. A little audience poll to kind of get the wheels turning and some things for you to think about when thinking about working from home. What is the ideal number of days that you would work from home if you could? Would it be 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, or 5 days? So go ahead and think about that for a second. I had some good information that I just heard the other day. Creditcards.com said that 82% of workers would rather be in the office 3 days per week and then working at their main office the other 2. The statistic that surprised me a little was that 35% of employees said that they would rather work from home all 5 days of the week. So that was a little surprising to me, but some things to think about. So why is it important to have strong endpoint security while working from home? Well, the reality is that COVID-19 has struck, and many companies have gone to a work from home model, not by choice, but one of necessity. Some companies are even realizing that they may not even need a main office at all and have their employees work from home 100% of the time. As a result, there's been an influx in employees signing in remotely into the corporate networks and cloud-based applications. And with so many employees transitioning to working from home, the level of security in most home offices are not what they should, making them vulnerable to cyber attack and data loss. I'm sure a lot of you have heard about these sorts of things in the news about ransomware, and phishing attacks have been on the increase lately due to the number of workers that are working from home. Employees are no longer working behind their company's firewalls, and all the security protocols and everything that they had that went along with it are not there anymore. So the attacks that we see are most common at the endpoint. And so that's why today we want to talk about how to keep that endpoint safe and secure. A couple of days ago, I had someone called and talked to me and mentioned that he thinks his email has been hacked, and his Microsoft 365 wasn't working. His computer was acting weird. He probably has some sort of a malware or something that's really impacting his system. He was quite concerned about it. I did what I could to help him out, but it might be a little too late for him. Who knows? We don't know the level of data that may have already gotten out there. So we can get him back working again, but there's really no telling the amount of data that has already been lost, and not to mention the downtime that he's going to experience by dealing with these problems. It's just a perfect example of what can happen when you're working remotely and you don't have the protection that you need. So as I've talked about in other webinars, having good endpoint security is one of the most important things that you can do or have for your computer when working remotely. To me, all the levels of protection for work from home employees, we at SAF have come up with a good, a better, and a best solution. Here's a bit of a preview of what we're going to be talking about in coming weeks as we add more and more features to the work from home worker. And then at the highest level, or the premium level, we're going to actually implement hardware. The one we're going to focus on today, though, is the protection at the endpoint for the home worker and how important that is. It's really important to have good, solid endpoint protection that has the ability to respond right in that software. The solution also gives, the solution that we're going to talk about also gives SAF the ability to monitor an endpoint from our headquarters, and the software can even alert us if your system were even to get attacked. And we can follow up and see if all is well. We can even set preferences for web content and just a bunch of other parameters that a company might need for that remote worker. So let's spend a little time talking about work from home endpoint security and how that should look. Really, the heart and soul of our endpoint protection is the Sophos Intercept X Advanced with EDR. Now, this is not your garden variety endpoint protection. This is what they refer to as next generation or next gen antivirus. It's so important to discuss the 3 levels of Intercept X, which on its own is considered as the world's best endpoint protection. You've got your standard Intercept X, which has been one of the industry leaders, but they've improved on it even more now to incorporate EDR, which is endpoint detection and response, into the middle one here, which is going to be a part of the packages that we offer. Beyond that, there's managed threat response, which is detection and response, and we'll get into a little bit about that as well. So, but when it comes to EDR, we really want to concentrate on that R, the response. EDR has typically been used by very large and sophisticated organizations like Fortune 100 companies and the Department of Defense. It's advanced detection designed to find threats within an organization. The great news is that this technology is now available for companies of all sizes. Intercept X uses state-of-the-art artificial intelligence and machine learning threat detection that can automatically detect, respond, and repair virus attacks. So let's talk a little bit about that. At your company, consider prevention, detection, and response. Those are the 3 main things that any good technology security should have. You want to be able to prevent it from happening in the first place. If something does happen, the detection is going to notify you, and then the response part will take care of the threat. So those are the steps that you definitely want to have in your antivirus, and what we incorporate at SAF. I definitely want to mention that in addition to the endpoint security for your workstation, Intercept X is available for mobile devices. So if you have your mobile device connected to your network or to your computer, that could potentially be a spot for someone to get into the network and retrieve data and do some bad things. So we can talk more about that in future webinars. So Sophos is really an industry leader in endpoint protection. They've gotten the leader status on the Gartner Magic Quadrant for the last 11 reports. Forrester has rated them very highly as a leader in endpoint protection. AV says that they block 99.9% of malware with 0 false alarms, which is really cool. And SE Labs says that they had 100% total accuracy on the tests that they performed. So these are very great things, and what make Intercept X is considered by many as the world's greatest endpoint protection. Strong endpoint security should do these things. It should prevent, detect, and respond by removing malicious files off of your computer. It should use artificial intelligence and machine learning. It should use static and dynamic scans of all the internet traffic that's going back and forth. Reduce the impact on your computer's resources by making it run faster and not bogging it down. Determine a malicious threat as opposed to a harmless one, and should definitely filter things like spam and all of your external links. InterceptX is going to be doing all of these things and a whole lot more. What's really neat about it is that no matter where you are, if you're at home or when they open the coffee shops, if you're working from a coffee shop, if InterceptX is on your endpoint, you're going to be protected. Intelligent EDR. As I mentioned, InterceptX has machine learning and artificial intelligence. It's really the same technology that you might see in a Siri or Alexa that learns by adapting to your habits, your voices, and your routines. If you've ever seen a Tesla drive down the road or even park itself, then this is an example of what artificial intelligence is. Basically, it's technology that learns as it goes. Your standard antivirus programs are going to compare your internet traffic and web activity to a list of known viruses on a list. Machine learning takes it one step further. It adapts by protecting your computer by learning how a particular activity acts. And that's how InterceptX is going to detect threats that potentially aren't even known yet. For instance, if your computer starts automatically encrypting files in a rapid sequence, the software is going to take a look at it and say, hey, wait a minute, this is not normal, and it's going to shut that activity down and send an alert and even quarantine that endpoint as well. So if something's malicious, a report is also going to get sent back to Sophos in addition to SAF, and we're going to take a look at it. They're going to take a look at it. Sophos has got a team of experts that if they determine something to be malicious, they can actually take that signature and send that out to all users that are using InterceptX, and it really helps protect all of the users that have it. The concept of EDR was originally developed with actual IT analysts in mind, employees within a company. What they would do is gather just tremendous amount of information, and that team of usually 3 would go through all that information. They'd sift through it and determine which files were threatening, and they would take measures to delete and repair all of those files. Now, with InterceptX, with EDR, there's really no need to hire 3 people anymore. This solution can, in essence, replace that expensive security analysts at a fraction of the budget. And at the end of the day, it's going to be much more efficient as well, being able to respond so much more quickly. The problems facing IT and security teams that we've seen are really boiled down to these 3 main ones, where a lack of time. 26% of IT teams' time is spent managing security. A lack of resources. 2/3 say budget for the people in technology is too low, and lack of visibility, where 68% of data breaches take 1 month or longer to detect. So that's a real big one. If there's a malware or some sort of malicious content that's on your computer, if it takes you a month to even know that it's there, imagine the harm that's doing in the meantime. I mentioned earlier how it's important to be proactive. The value of having the world's best endpoint protection means that we can lessen the burden of an EDR solution. This means that we're able to stop attacks before they happen and reduce the overall attack surface. Being the very best EDR solution on the market, there's not as much workload that needs to be done. It's definitely a quality over quantity as it protects. And this is significantly going to reduce the amount of operations that need to be performed and lightens the load of the program. It makes it faster, it makes it more efficient. And in the next slide that I'm going to show you, I'll kind of show you how that works. Okay, so imagine this is internet traffic right here, where you've got benign or the stuff that's good, and then you've got malicious or the stuff that's bad. As we all know that there's safe traffic and there's malicious traffic at our workstation, and that gap in the middle is what our antivirus is going to take a look at in an attempt to keep us safe. So as attackers get more and more sophisticated, the standard file scan is just not going to be enough. Your standard antivirus needs to scan multiple files that come in through the internet. And with so many files needing to be scanned, it can impact your performance of your computer, making it slow down because it's got to scan all of those files. InterceptX with EDR is going to take that gap and make it smaller by intelligently granting benign files permission to proceed and to concentrate on those files that it isn't sure about. If it finds something malicious, it's going to stop it in its tracks. Now, there's no antivirus that's out there that's foolproof. However, this is really the best endpoint technology that there is. To increase the level of security and protect your system even further, we can do some additional things such like incorporating hardware, VPNs into a work from home office, and we'll talk about those in the future. The top 6 reasons why you should have InterceptX with EDR. With this, we now have the ability to see threats that we didn't even know existed with InterceptX. The response time is nearly instantaneous. We should learn from similar attacks to prevent them from down the road, to use AI and machine learning at a fraction of the cost of an IT team, and offer you the best and most latest endpoint protection that there is. And also, it's going to be the most cost-effective option that small and mid-sized businesses are going to have. Another little audience poll for you to think about. How many of you out there think that you have proper endpoint security? And maybe given the stuff that I've said, maybe you have some of those features, and if you do, that's great. If you're one of the companies that doesn't, or that you're not sure, I'd strongly suggest looking into a solution like InterceptX Advanced with EDR, because that's going to keep you the most protected and give you the protection that you're going to need. Quality endpoint protection is a must. Online security is important these days more than ever. With so many people working from home, we at SIF have come up with some different ways to keep you safe. But it all starts with a solid endpoint protection. Good endpoint protection is the basis for working safer, more efficiently, and give you peace of mind for you and your company. If you have an IT professional where you work, ask them what kind of endpoint protection that you're running. And maybe you're the IT technology person at your company. And if you are, take a good look at the levels of protection that you've got on your workstations. Remember, if it's a standard antivirus, the free version is something out of the box, chances are it's not going to be enough to keep you protected. And if you have something like that, it's just really a risky roll of the dice. The EDR feature that InterceptX has is like hiring like all 3 of those people that I talked about earlier. You're going to have your own specific team of people looking at your computer and keeping an eye on things. And to make things even better, for those that might be interested, teaming up with our partner Sophos, if you give us a call and are interested, we can get you a 30-day trial of InterceptX Advanced with the EDR to see what you think. You can run it right next to your existing software and antivirus and see how it performs. And we really think that if you do that, you're going to see the differences, and it's going to be a no-brainer for you. So with that, I'd like to thank everyone for attending today's webinar, and we look forward to talking more in the future about work from home security and how to keep your endpoints secure. We're going to talk about our deluxe level, like I mentioned, and then our premium level in the future. So I hope today's chat has brought a little more consciousness to endpoint security and keep you safe from working at home. And remember, it's always better to be proactive and to make sure that you're protected and not have to deal with disastrous data loss in the future. So with that, thank you for attending, and let us be a resource if you need one, and have a great day.